everyone, and welcome back to another video on something a little bit different. Today we're going to be giving, well, my thoughts about the liveries that are coming to F1 2021. We've got all 10 of them down here on the bottom, of course. Obviously I've also seen them, a couple of them in real life as well. Not in real life, but I mean other than these rendered images here that we've got. They've obviously, some of them been on track today, so in testing, so I've seen a little bit of testing as well. So I'm just giving my thoughts about this and that as well. Obviously you probably will be able to not agree with all of these, so let me know what your thoughts and which liveries do you think are best down in the comments below. And also I've left a link in the description to this tier list so you can try it for yourself. Now we've got 5 categories. We have the best thing since sliced bread, great, good, okay, and then the did you design this in paint category. Of course, remembering the 2019 Williams, which was designed in paint basically, and they stuck all loads of sponsors on it. It was the worst design ever. I think they spent 2 minutes, but we'll get to this year's Williams shortly, because obviously we're going to start. I'm going to do these in order that they were released, if I remember which order they were released in. So if they're not, or rather the order I thought they were released in. So we'll start with McLaren. They were the first to launch. Now this is my personal opinion. I've never liked the blue. The orange has grown on me for McLaren, but the blue, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me personally. I know that obviously some people like the orange and blue. I think the orange I didn't like at all either when they first went with it. The orange has since grown on me, but the blue doesn't really go well. I was hoping that with the Mercedes powertrain they would have got rid of the blue now, but they haven't. It's still there. I don't know why as well, because it's not in their corporate colours, the blue, so why they have, it's just a little bit unclear why the blue is still there. Because we all thought the blue was for Renault, and that's what the concept designers, I remember back in the day when they announced the Renault deal, they actually added the blue. But now I think that Mercedes are in charge. They should really take it away. I don't know what other colour they would go with. Again, maybe for a chrome and papaya orange livery, that might put likewise. So yeah, it's also pretty much the same livery, except they've drawn some lines instead of some what was it, squares. So it's not really changed that much. It's going in okay for me. I mean, it's not quite a did you design this in paint, because I still like the papaya orange, but at the same time it's not a good livery, to be fair. It's just the same old from last year, and I don't think it's not going to, for me, it's not ever going to be considered an iconic livery in terms of Formula 1 history, because the colours just don't really go well together. Okay, it was AlphaTauri that revealed themselves next, if I remember rightly. Now, AlphaTauri's livery, I liked last year's livery, and it was actually a great livery last year, to be honest. This year, though, I'm not so sure, because I've seen the front wing. The front wing is what's causing me thinking. The side is actually looks a little bit better from last year. They've tidied it up so much, and it sort of flows better on the side this year, I feel, than last year. But on the front, if you look at it from the front, I'm not a fan of the dark blue front wing. I prefer the white front wing with the dark blue. I think that presents the front of the car better than last year. So for that reason alone, It's got to go good. It's still a nice livery, but at the same time, when everybody on the grid's gone for blue, it's sort of seeing the same old sometimes. The same, not the same colour, but not the same livery, but the same colour on the grid, and we could do with a little bit of variance maybe. And also, again, AlphaTauri do have black as well that they could add to the car, so they could do something really nice with the car and the livery, to sort of blend all three of the colours that they've got to in, but they haven't, so it goes in good for me. I'm trying to remember who came next, but okay, we'll just go. There was a whole load of them that came next, so we'll go for Alfa Romeo, and then Red Bull. Now, Alfa Romeo's livery last year was a bit bland. It's pretty much last year. I'm pretty sure they just copied the previous year's livery that we've had for the last since 2018. So copying and pasting the livery. But this year, however, it looks a lot better, and it's straight away it's going in the best thing since sliced bread livery, because although it's not, yes, there are a little bit of stuff that they could work on, it just looks that good. It looks good on track as well, in the lighting as well, so it looks good on track, it looks good in the renders, and it's also nice to see that they've actually freshened up their livery. They've reversed the colours on the rear, they've made the halo right, and it just flows into a nice livery. I was a little bit hesitant about the front wing being white instead of red. That's maybe a slight criticism, but overall it's probably the nicest livery that we have on the grid. It goes in the best thing since sliced bread category for me. The same can't be said for Red Bull, and this is the thing. The problem with Red Bull is that it's the same livery that we've had for years and years. And I know you're going to hear me out on Ferrari as well, okay? I disagree with people who say that Ferrari can't have the same livery, because the problem is with the likes of Ferrari and Red Bull, yes, of course, they're always going to have a red car for Ferrari or blue with the Red Bull for Red Bull, but at the same time, that does not mean that their cars have to be boring. For example, they could change up the Red Bull, maybe put it on the side. With the Ferrari, they could add the prancing horses. So many concept ideas that graphic designers are creating on Twitter and Instagram. It's a joke that they've managed to come up with something this boring and dull. In actual fact, I'm pretty sure everybody on Twitter said that it was the B standard for boring. Now, with the Red Bull, I am very tempted to put it in the bottom category. Did you design it in paint? Because they could have done. They could have taken last year's livery and literally put it in paint, swapped the Aston Martin logos out for Honda, and added a few of the Telmex liveries, that logos, and then they'd be done. They probably designed that livery in 5 minutes. I'm not going to leave it in did you design this in paint, because I actually think the Red Bull is such an iconic livery that to put it in there would be an injustice. So because if this wasn't an iconic livery that we've seen over the years, then it would be in the bottom category, but I'm going to move it into okay. It's worse than the McLaren, I would say, but it's still better than some other cars. Right, Alpine. Now, you're going to hear me out of this. It's going in great. I'm going to get criticism for this. I'm not a great fan of this livery. And I think it's not the fact that it's not the fact that it's not a great livery. It is a great livery. It's going in great, but it's not as nice as what they've done with the Alfa Romeo. They haven't. I think this livery is a start, but they could do a lot better with the Alpine livery. For starters, the entire front wing is just black. So I'm not a fan of that. I did see a concept where they put the French flag on the front wing, which looks a whole lot better as well. I also think they could have done something clever with the Alpine logo on the back, where the A is extended across the car, maybe to over where the Alpine thing, little bit like what Alfa Romeo have done with their logo. They stuck it in the middle of their they stuck the wording in the middle of their logo. Alpine could have done something similar and made it quite nice and split the red. I also don't like the red on the side at the front where they put the Mapfre logo. It just looks a bit like, well, it's just like somebody said, we need a bit more red on the car, we're just going to put a little bit there. So yeah, the front, other than that, from this view, if you can see this on the screen, it looks great. Apart from the front wing, it looks great, but from the side it needs a little bit more work. Right, I've forgotten which order they came out in, so we're just going to go from left to right now. Ferrari, don't like. I literally think they designed it in paint. I'm not going to lie, because there's two colours on. Well, apart from the fact they've got little bit of black on the bottom, which doesn't really count. There's two colours on this car: the maroon and the red. And to be honest, I think they could have done a lot better with this livery. Yes, I do agree. It would probably be okay. It's an okay livery without the mission window logo. But because it's got that terrible logo on in green, which anybody who's colourblind is stuck basically, because red and green don't go together. It just doesn't work as a livery at all. It's too bland. The number as well looks like it was. I saw one comment said that the number has been used by Comic Sans. So it's going in, did you design this in paint? Mercedes, yes. Now you're gonna have to hear me out on this, because the renders that the initial images, it looked terrible from it, including this one that this image is from. I don't like the AMG. If this had a little bit better fading with the grey to the black, had the Mercedes logos instead of the AMG logos, then it would be in the top category, the best thing since sliced bread, because it would have been better than the livery they had last year, which I think is one of the best liveries that Mercedes have ever produced. But let's be honest, the AMG logos are there, they look horrific. And then with this fade to grey thing, which just doesn't work. It looks like it was done by a 5-year-old, to be honest. So yes, from the front it looks amazing, and I love what they've done with the numbers. The numbers is absolutely superb, by the way. A lot better than Ferrari's numbering. So for me, because of those two things, I'm gonna put it in good, okay? Because it's half good and half not really. But there we go. Aston Martin is another livery that would have been in the best thing since sliced bread, but they ruined it by adding the pink. The pink does not work because it's two dark colours and it doesn't work. Now this livery, now we know that this livery was leaked. What you may or may not realise, that this livery was actually leaked twice, because someone on Twitter actually got their hands on the previous version, the first version of what this livery would have looked like before BWT. and the dark pink would have been lime green, like it is on all the team wear, and that would have been, in the best thing since sliced bread, better than the Alfa Romeo livery. But because they've added BWT and they've added the pink, and I've seen it on track, it's not that great. It's still a great livery. I think they need to build the colours into it. I don't think it's going to look great all the time though, and certain lights, like in the bright sunshine at Bahrain, just doesn't work well. So it's still in great. I still think that in the night time in Bahrain, the green will actually come alive, as opposed in the daytime. The pink though doesn't give it that balance. It just conflicts really. So it's been ruined, is what I'm saying there. Then we've come to the penultimate two, who have very little sponsors. One team for a certain reason, and then of course Williams because they don't want to tarnish their brand to get some sponsors on, even though pretty much if Latifi left, they'd be left with no sponsors on the car. To Haas first. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy around the livery with this car, mainly because of He Who Shall Not Be Named car, and also the fact it looks a little bit like the Russian flag on it. Apart from that though, speaking design wise, it actually looks better than the Haas was okay last year. I actually I had a small liking to the Haas, but it was okay. It was a little bit bland. The design that they've got on this year, apart from the fact of the meaning, is actually good. I think it looks good. I think that what the designer's done, it's his first livery. If I remember rightly, the designer on Twitter said it was his first livery, and he obviously, I don't know how he's feeling the fact that, of course, that this livery's been associated with the story of that. And yes, just on the design wise though, it looks good. It looks clean and fresh. Yes, it looks a little bit bland from the front, which is why it's not anything other than good. Because the front looks a little bit bland, to be honest. They could have done a little bit more on the side as well. We're making the Russian flag flow across the livery, but at the same time, it looks okay. It looks good. It certainly looks a lot. It's certainly something different to see on the grid as opposed to some of the other cars we've been seeing on the grid. I mean, now obviously, do we leave it there? I'm gonna leave it there purely on a design point. Okay, for its meaning, it would be in another tier all by itself. But because but just purely based on its design, it goes in good. And the final livery to round off this video, of course, is the Williams. And oh dear, it looks better on track, I must admit, than the renders. But at the same time, it doesn't. The front, I saw the front wing first actually, and I thought, okay, well, there's some yellow here, maybe they've actually, and then I saw the second image showing the side, and yeah, it's not that great, to be honest. Somebody said it was. It's like it was designed in my team from the renders. Now it does look a little bit better on track, I must admit. The blue does actually look better, but at the same time you still see that Williams logo and the Lavazza logo, and I ask that it just doesn't flow very well. So it's the only livery that's worse than the Ferrari. It goes in the category of, did you design this in paint? And yeah, that is pretty much it. The Williams, I hope that they can improve their liveries, because they need to get somebody else. I've seen countless liveries on Twitter, on Instagram, that would be 1,000 times better than most of these put together, especially like the likes of Red Bull, Ferrari as well. I've just saw one earlier today that would have been with the horse as well, which would have been 1,000 times better than what they've got here. So I think that what the story of this is that all of these, I would say even the Alfa Romeo, because it's the best one, the Alfa Romeo for me, but it's still, I don't know, maybe it lacks a little bit. It still lacks a bit on the front wing for me, but it is better than the Alpine and the Aston Martin, which have been subtly ruined, in my opinion. But yes, let me know what you think in the comments below. You can go and do this tier list rather for yourself. There will be a link in the description below. Of course, if you are new around here, then please do get subscribed. Let me know what other tier lists you might want to see on the channel in the future. I might do a couple more of these based on the F1 game once I've finished my playthrough, which will be back next week with F1 2017, by the way. Until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.